Good morning. Our hand today is going to be Pocket Jacks. This is a 5NL game. Full ring. Sitting with 8 players. I'm in the cutoff. Folds around to me. I open raise. Pretty easy. Got a big range here. Button calls. And they're the only ones. This is the 8th hand I have on this player. Really don't know how he plays. So I'm just going to go with a range that looks something like this: pocket pair, suited aces, Broadway, some Broadway's hands. I'm going to include these offsuits here. I probably could include like King 10, Queen 10, but I don't think so. I'm going to keep with suited. This is 20%. Tough to say, but a wider range that's. I mean, against the raise, he's in position. I guess I could maybe. Yeah, we'll include those. So 22%. We see a flop. Flop is 996. Not too bad. Kind of figure that we're ahead. Villain 7. We've got a big range too that we have to maneuver. I think we could justify check calling here. Checking, letting villain bet. We don't. If I bet, let's say 3, and he raises, I'm going to probably have to call because we're setting up a raise on hearts. You could set up a raise on a straight. I think overall, with our hand, it's probably better just to check it here and go for the call. So if we break it down, full house is checking because we just swamped the board. What would we bet? I'm not sure if we would bet anything. Because again, we swamped the board with the 9s. Really. Yeah, if we bet, we don't really have anything monstrous. Because I think the full house is just going to be a check. So yeah, I'm going to say we probably check full house. I think we check 3 of a kind. And then I think we're going to go with the check for the overpair. And that means then we're continuing the overpair, the check with probably most of the flush draws. Yeah, I think that's what it is. I think when we figure it out, if we end up checking these, then our bets are going to be extremely weak. And yeah, you can mix it up, but versus this unknown, I think it's probably best just to check 100%. So yeah, I don't like the bet, and that's why. I don't like that. So if we were checking, I guess if we go back to a bet, we would say we would target all of those, including these pairs. I think we're going middle pair, pocket pair. It's kind of a bluff. We'd have our flush draw, open ender, probably our gut shots. We would add our 2 card back to our flush draws as part of our draws. Don't know how many overcards we would be betting. Maybe like the ace king, ace queen, if we had like the ace of hearts, king of hearts. So I guess we'll include some of those. So I guess that would be our bet. You know, I'm kind of thinking now we're probably checking this, just because we would have a lot of hands that we would end up checking. I think overall it protects our strength. So villain raises, and what is villain raise? It's a minimum raise. So at this point, probably 3 of a kind or full house or an overpair. I don't think he's going to be raising with pocket pair less than the top card. I think you could, but I don't think we're at. I don't think we're against players that are really going to be doing that. So we're looking at something like this. We'll include quads as well. So flush and open-ended straight draw, that's probably the weakest. So then it comes back to us. If he's got overpairs as well, and we've got a jack, we're basically only beating tens. So at this point, I think we get rid of our 2-card backdoor flush draws. I think we fold those. Well, we're getting 15% to call. Yeah, we're getting rid of those. We're probably getting rid of the gut shots. We're going to call our flush draw open-ender. We're getting rid of our aces. We're getting rid of these pocket pairs. Pocket pair less than the top card. I think we're getting rid of the tens. Actually, let's call with those. I think we're calling with all of those. And the reason we're doing tens is because if he has flush draws and doesn't, or straight draw and doesn't come in on the turn, I think he's going to check behind, and that's going to tell us our tens are good. But if he bets again, we're going to just get rid of him. So I think that's our ranges going forward. 6 comes out, and that's just a bad card for us. Any 9's going to continue, has that full house, and basically we're looking at jacks. So for us, we're going to check 100% of our range. We're going to be calling full house, calling quads. I think we should be folding overpairs. So he bet 6. That's just, it looks like it's a please call me bet. That's really what it looks like. So yeah, I would call full house quads, maybe lead small on the river. I don't think I'd have any bluff here. So yeah, time to give up the flush draw, give up the open-ender. We're looking at that as what we should be calling, because I don't think villain's betting the overpair anymore. I don't think he's betting flush draw or the open-ender. I think he's going to go with your full house or quads. So I call. I think that's 100% mistake. We should be folding, even though we have jacks. We should be folding. I think he's starting to represent that he has a 9 or a 6. Queen of clubs comes out. We really can't beat anything, so we shouldn't even be in the hand. But if we were, this would be a good time now to just go ahead and bet. Maybe 10. Something small. You could lead. Can I represent maybe I have a queen? It's going to look like a blocking bet is what it's going to look like, which means, maybe I'm blocking it because I might have a 6. And then I'll get the 9 to raise, and then we can kind of come over the top with 9s or quads. I mean, if he folds a 9, hey, that's great. We take down the pot. But if he has one, we're just going to split it. We're basically paying the rake at that point. But we're doing it because we've got quads as well. We can have quads in our range. He bets. I shouldn't be calling at all. I'm pretty certain he has a 9. That would be my guess. He actually has a 6. So villain had the weak hand. So this was a 3 of a kind. Middle pair is what he bet. So we didn't have him betting that 6. So we're going to take some notes here. That's good to know. And he didn't really raise very large, so his bet sizing could be could indicate the strength of his hand. So he calls, cut off, RFI 3 big blinds, whoops, and button with 6-4 off, which is crazy, but he did it. R min raise, and then he bet 6 again. So less than a third. We could do like 30%. Bet same, which is about 30%. We'll say that. And then he bet about 30% again. So 9 of hearts, 6 of hearts, 6 of clubs. Hold on, 9 of hearts, 9 of clubs, 6 of spades, queen of clubs. So overall, I didn't expect the villain to have 6-4. If he's got 6-4, he's got all of those too. Probably the aces as well, offsuit aces. So we're looking fairly wide. I still don't think it changes. I think we check. He bets, we call. The run out was bad with the 6, but I think we would still call on the turn. And then on the river, probably evaluate. If he bets flop, turn, and river, I think it gives us reason to fold our hand. I think if he checks behind on the river, our jacks have a possibility of taking it down. But since we bet and he raised, the run out was just bad. I think the turn should have been a fold. It's just I probably didn't because of the way the players bet. His bet sizing's strange, but that's 5 NL. It's 5 NL for you. All right, so I messed up this hand again. Been doing that, but it's good to review and try to catch our mistakes, try to avoid them next time it happens. So hopefully you enjoy this hand. If you do, look tomorrow for another.